Hello everyone, it's Lighthouse Messages. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your Tuesday. I'm doing a collective reading to see what energy and what information you need to know to start your day off with, and how I can give you clarity and guidance on how to get your life moving forward. This channel, we focus on taking you from zero to hero in your own life. So I went ahead and got the overall energy for the reading today. And we got 4 cards. So we're going to start with number 13. Find your haven. There is a place of wonder waiting just for you. And what I'm getting with this is that you might have a place that you go to get grounded, okay? Spirit wants you to find peace in that. If you've been busy and you haven't been able to seek that area, it might be a favorite place or a place that you go to seek divine guidance. It can be out in nature, okay? Spirit wants you to make time for this. Okay? And it says, this new chapter in your life is going to require a new way of seeing things and a new way of seeing yourself. You can't continue to see and interpret things with the same understanding that you have had until now. No matter what you face or how you feel, see it all from a higher perspective. Yeah, and I feel like when you go seek solace in this location, and everybody, it's going to be different. Again, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. But I think by spending that time with the divine, you're going to get information, signs, downloads. You may also get information in your dreams. Make sure you're writing that down. But you're definitely starting a new beginning. I'm really getting the energy of a new beginning here. Okay? And they want you to have a different perspective. Okay? A higher perspective. Seeing the bigger picture. Seeing things from different point of view, different angles. Okay? We also got number 23. You could be seeing that number. It's also a number 5, which signifies change. It says soul satisfaction. Honor your uniqueness. Do what makes you feel good. Okay? I'm also seeing the rainbow, and it's like a very loving environment here with the child. And what I'm getting with, it's like the 10 of Cups. It's like emotional fulfillment. It's like all your emotional wishes coming true that satisfy your soul, right? By following your uniqueness and doing what makes your heart and soul light up, right? Your passions are your roadmap. I'm hearing as well. And then we have number 41, which is also a number 5. And 5s, so we have 5, 5, if you add them up. 5 signify change. So you could be going through some changes in your life or going through a transformation, which is part of this. Or and for some of you, you've already gone through this transformation. That's why you're starting this new chapter. But the divine wants you to make sure that you're not thinking, of that lower perspective now, that you're seeing things from a higher perspective. It says, law of grace, be your divine essence, dissolve all in grace. And you could be seeing roses as well. I was called to pull out the book on this and read what it says. So I'm going to read to you what this card meaning is said. And it says, grace is forgiveness. If you offer it to someone who has betrayed you, your heavenly gift breaks the energetic link and sets you free. It also fills that old space in your heart with love and generosity. When you ask for grace for all the hurts or harms you have caused, consciously or unconsciously, throughout your life, it also releases you and brings huge relief. No one is perfect, for Earth is a learning experience. If you feel you have acted imperfectly, forgive yourself. The person you were then did the best they could at the time in those circumstances. Until you forgive yourself, you will attract punishment because you believe you deserve it. And we have talked in other readings about what you think about, you bring about. And so if you are in the energy of, beating yourself up or punishment or talking down to yourself, then that's the energy you're pushing out. And so what gets reflected back into your environment and the people around you is that they're going to confirm that for you. So it's very important in order to move on and elevate from the circumstance, is that you forgive and release not only the other person or people, but yourself, more importantly, right? You can't become the best version of yourself when you haven't been able to forgive yourself. It says, but Source sees the divine in you, accepting you without judgment. See the divine in others. Look at everyone you meet with eyes of grace. Extend this to your friends, neighbors, acquaintances, all in the public domain and people throughout history. Grace enables relationships to transform with divine love, and when you practice giving and receiving unconditional acceptance, all karma is erased. Okay? So forgiveness is, it's so important not to hold on to those grudges, right? Not to hang on to pains of the past, right? Because you are going into this new chapter and Spirit wants you to have a different perspective, okay? And I just heard where you're going is going to be safe. Okay? There's actually through this cave on the other side, there's a castle and it looks like the ocean in the background. So wherever you're going, you're going to be safe. If that was a concern for you, or you felt like you haven't felt safe, I don't know why I'm getting that, but somebody needs to hear that. This new chapter, it's nothing. It's going to be nothing like your past, okay? If the past cycle you experienced a lot of hurt, pain, betrayal, deceit, and it puts you in a fear response, or you may have triggers at times because of those experiences. God wants you to know that He's taking you to a safe place, okay? And it's a new chapter. So make sure that you offer the law of grace, right? That you forgive when necessary. Okay, so I'm going to get some messages from the compass box so we can get more direction on this and see what else you need to know. Forgiving yourself can be more difficult than actually forgiving the other person. because we tend to beat ourselves up that we, made those poor choices, right? But you got to forgive yourself. The true power in those situations is taking, do the self-reflection, understanding why you made those decisions or why you made those poor choices, right? And turn that into power. Turn it into a resource that pushes you to becoming the best version of yourself, right? Because if you sit in pity and victimhood, it's kind of like that rocking chair. You're really never going anywhere, right? You're not elevating, you're not improving the quality of your life. You have no joy or peace sitting in that energy. So it's so important to forgive, release, take those mistakes, alchemize those, turn those into a power transformational experience in your life, okay? Don't let negative people keep you from seeing all the positive still around you, okay? Don't let negative people, negative thoughts, old negative thought patterns keep you from seeing all the positive things that are still around you, especially for those who are going, maybe going through something difficult, or this new chapter requires you to make decisions where people might put a negative spin on it. Okay? They want you to focus on the positive. Everybody's going to have something to say. Okay? But what they feel or think about the situation is irrelevant. It's between you and the divine, right? As long as you're following the guidance of the divine and staying in your lane, on your path, on your mission, and where he's guiding you, it really does not matter what anybody thinks, feels about the situation. Okay? Forgiveness. Again, there's a big focus on forgiveness. Okay? And if you're really, really struggling on this, okay, forgiveness is so powerful, right? But again, it can be difficult depending on what this person has done to you, right? Or it could be parents. It could be, a physical abuse situation or emotional abuse situation. The ones that create those deep-seated wounds, right? You do, and I can tell you from personal experience, you do have the capability of offering forgiveness to these people. Now, I'm not saying that you have to get that by speaking to them. What I'm saying is forgiveness is about you, right? Forgiving them and seeing what the experience was from a higher perspective, right? But also forgiving yourself for, I'm using that as an example, but let's just say putting yourself in that kind of situation, or not seeing the red flags, whatever it may be. For everybody it's going to be different. But you can turn that whole experience into amazing power when you choose to release and forgive and let go of that baggage and use it as a transformational tool in your own life to become the best version of yourself. You cannot become the best version of yourself if you're not willing to forgive. Okay? Because, subconsciously you're carrying around the resentment, the hurt, the burden, all of that like like a heavy backpack. And the longer it goes on, the heavier it gets, right? You want to have that emotional freedom. You want to have that divine grace, that divine freedom, right? And the only way you're going to get that is through forgiveness. It says, forgiveness is not always easy. At times, it feels more painful than the wound we suffered. To forgive the one that inflicted it, and yet there is no peace without forgiveness, right? So and forgiveness is part of the healing process to those wounds, right? Making yourself whole again. And so you got to dive deep. You have to do that self-reflection. You also have to understand, your part in it, And sometimes it's not our fault these situations happen. But typically, why we experience pain and trauma is because the person that's inflicting it on us has not healed their own wounds and traumas and pain, right? It's a cycle that keeps repeating itself, okay, through generations. So my prayer for you is to make it end with you. Make the cycle end with you and process that forgiveness, okay? Don't be another person that's walking around with their pains, their traumas, and resentments and projecting that on other people and hurting them, and then this, and now they're hurt, and then they go out and hurt someone else emotionally. It's just a cycle, right? Make it end with you, okay? We are not responsible for what was inflicted on us, but it is our responsibility to heal it, okay? And especially for my collective out there that are parents, okay? If you are a parent, it is so important for you to heal those traumas, pains, anything that is holding you back or causing resentment or past pain, right? Because what happens is unconsciously you are projecting that onto your kids, okay? And kids, they're like sponges. So what happens is, it's your pain talking, right? It's not you aligned with the divine and the best version of yourself, but it is your pain talking. And so that gets projected on your kids. And then what happens, because they're sponges and they're looking for direction and guidance and wanting to be loved and accepted and nurtured, they put on a suit. I'm just going to call it like a costume. They put it on with all of the labels and the projections that you've pushed out on them. They start wearing it. And then as they grow up, it's like this is what continues to repeat the cycle. So next thing you know, everything that you felt in that moment through your pain, now they're feeling that. And now they're going out picking partners that reflect that, jobs that reflect that, friends that reflect that. And their whole life goes in a different direction, okay? So it's so important that you work on your grace, your forgiveness to yourself and to others, so you can find that place of peace, being that best version of yourself for you and your kids, right? And family and friends. And the divine, okay? All right. So let's see what else. And make sure you stay in that positive mindset, okay? It can be jarring going through, as you're healing those wounds, you can get sucked into those negative thought patterns. Make sure you fight those off and combat them with positive affirmations, okay? Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. Ephesians 4:23. Yeah, and this is the energy that Spirit wants you in once you've gone through the path of forgiveness. And, we're all on different timelines here, okay? But through forgiveness, this is the energy and the mindset that you're going to feel, that peace, that calmness, that joy, right? Going with the flow. Completely humble, patient, right? These are all beautiful things that you can offer to yourself, your partner, your kids, your environment, your workplace, your business, right? And it's through the divine that you get that bond of peace. And that's what the divine wants for you, okay? And all things are possible through him. And he wants it for you. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Yeah. So you got to get started on this. Don't keep running away from this. Don't keep running away for what the divine wants from you. Because as long as you don't forgive, right, it's going to keep you stuck and stagnant emotionally. And you may turn your back on what the divine is sending your way. That's specifically for you, right? If you don't see it from a higher perspective, you may turn your back on it. Okay? So make sure that you work on forgiveness, okay? Offering that grace when needed. And you'll be able to tell, right? We always want to forgive, and one of the questions may be, well, what if they do it again? Or what if it's not genuine? You will know. You will be able to tell the ones that have done their healing work, and that's one of the benefits of doing your healing work, is that you can read energy. You can see things because you do have that higher perspective, right? But you're going to be able to tell just by that person's energy, their mannerisms, and how they, what they're saying. And this is a case where someone's asking for forgiveness, right? But in most cases, it's just something we need to give to ourselves and to that person. But you'll know, read the energy. You will know if this is genuine, okay? And it says, dream big. Yeah, because Spirit has big things planned for you, but you need to have a different perspective, okay? You need to have a different perspective, because if you don't, you might miss this opportunity, this new beginning. All because you're hung up on something of the past. It says, a friend loveth at all times. Proverbs 17:17. You could be seeing 17. A friend loveth at all times. Yeah. And what's this new chapter could be, a beautiful friendship, right? A friendship for life. But it may require forgiveness, right? Grace. So keep that higher perspective and keep focused on your dreams. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop trying to force others to. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop trying to force others to. Yeah, and what I'm getting with this is that this has to do with somebody or something of your past. Okay? Sometimes you just have to let go of something or someone because you can't love and cherish and care enough for two, right? For the both of you. You know, and you can't force somebody to be something they're just not, right? And what I'm getting, another way of seeing this is that you're just not in alignment with this person, this opportunity, this thing. Because if you were in alignment with it, then it would flow. It would be easy. It wouldn't be forced. Okay? And what God sends your way, what God delivers to you, it won't have to be forced. It will come to you freely. And it will show up to meet you where you're at. Okay? It says, loving ourselves works miracles in our lives. Yeah. And, I feel like what I'm getting with this is that I feel like you've learned how to love yourself through forgiveness. Again, we're on different timelines, but some of you have done this forgiveness already. And through that, you really have learned to love yourself and learned how to let go of things that you're done. You're done trying to get people to see your value, your worth. It's almost like forcing people to see what they're missing out on, I'm hearing. Like you're letting that go because now you know by loving yourself and through forgiveness, you know your worth and value, and nothing should ever be forced. And if it is, it's not going to work out anyway. Nothing works out of forcing anything, right? It says, in the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. James 2:17. In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, it's dead. Yeah. So make sure that you follow your faith with action. And and action can be through your words, your affirmations, taking the strength and the action that you need and making sure that you're speaking those positive affirmations, trying to put action into changing your mindset, right? Being able to forgive, having faith in that forgiveness and taking action of, doing it. Okay? Action doesn't always necessarily mean, physical action, right? You can speak words into action, right? It has a lot to do with the mind. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools that you have, right? And it has the ability to change the whole trajectory of your entire life by just changing how you think. And through how you think, you change how you feel. And how you feel, then you change, gives you more energy. You have more passion. You have more focus, right? So make sure you're speaking into your reality exactly what you want, not what you don't want. The progress you have made matters more than you know. Yeah, and some of you are already in the process of this. And Spirit is here saying, I've noticed your progress, your effort, like how far you've gone, how you're working on this forgiveness. And there's a new chapter coming in for you here, but you're going to have to see it in a new perspective. Okay? Okay. It's never too late to focus on your dreams. Okay? There's another confirmation about dreams here. Okay? They want you to really focus on it. You know, we all have different dreams, different things we would like to materialize into the 3D, into our environment, right? But Spirit doesn't want you to give up on these. Stay focused. You know, I've talked about vision boards, or, it could be, journaling, right? Whatever you need to do to keep your focus on what you want in your life versus thinking and feeling and believing the things and speaking about the things you don't want, right? And by the vision board, it gets your mind, with that forward thinking, right? Gets you unstuck. Sometimes, depending on what has happened in the past that you have to forgive, it's kept us in a cycle of repeat based on that trauma, right? So, and also I'm hearing, make sure you pray to the divine to release you from those traumas. Make sure you spend time in prayer with him, and it's having a conversation with him about your healing and how he can help you. Okay? But keep focusing on your dreams. Make a vision board. If you don't have one, make one. It can be fun. There's so many unique ways of doing them. I have, a couple in my office right now, vision boards. And it just create it into like a, just an art project. And there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Do it for you. Like, for my vision board, it's not just things that I would like, to manifest in my life, but it's also affirmations and reminders and things and places I'd like to go, all these things, right? About who I want to become, what I want, in my life. Not just physically, but emotionally, right? So, you can make it whatever you want, but it really keeps your mind focused on where you want to be, not where you are. And if that's something you struggle with, start, think about creating, doing this art project with the vision board. It's fairly inexpensive. You can get most of it off the internet, that you need, free of charge. We have the letter C here. Okay? I'm hearing follow your calling. If you have a calling for something, I'm also getting children. There's a child in this card. You could have children or want children. If that's the case, keep dreaming, because Spirit is saying don't give up on it. It's the opportunity is coming in. I'm hearing that as well. But if God is calling you to, on like some kind of idea, you need to pursue it, okay? And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. 1 Peter 5:10. Okay? And that is exactly what I was just saying about prayer and spending time in prayer with the divine. Okay? Because he wants to restore you. He wants you to release these burdens that you've been carrying that were never yours to carry. Okay? And he wants to restore you, confirm you, strengthen you, and establish you. You know, God has the ability to make you whole again. Okay? You are worthy and deserving of being whole again, not defined by your past or your wounds or your pains or your traumas, right? You are worthy of being whole. Not a cracked version, but a whole version. Okay? And again, it's talking about grace in here. It says, and after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, of all forgiveness, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. Okay? So, remember, God offers you grace, so you should offer grace to others. Okay? You need to find that within yourself, within your heart, and within your soul, so that you can find that purity within your heart again. Okay. All right, well, those are the messages I have. I'm going to get one more card, and I'm going to get this one. To close up this reading, I hope this has helped. I hope this has resonated with you and given you some guidance and clarity of what you need to know right now. Keep in mind that I do daily readings Monday through Friday, so if this didn't resonate with you today, please check in tomorrow and see if there's something there that resonates with you and helps you and gives you clarity. That's what we're focused on here, you know, getting unstuck. It's so easy to get stuck, right? You know, we need to keep moving forward, right? Not settling for where we are, right? Rising and elevating. Okay, what's the final message for the collective? What they need to know? I am the dreamer of my dream. Again, this is the third confirmation of dreams. Okay? And then at the bottom, oh, there's two here. There's one hidden. Obstacles and detours in the right direction. Okay, so for somebody out there, this is what you don't see. Okay? And maybe this is what Spirit is worried, that something might be coming in that you are like, oh no, you know, or you may be feeling like it's an obstacle or a detour, and Spirit is saying it's in the right direction, okay? If something is presenting itself as a new chapter, okay, and it's taking you in a different direction, okay, or you're facing obstacles currently, just know you're still going in the right direction, okay? You're still going in the right direction. Some of you out there have been questioning, you know, am I on the right path, or am I going in the right direction, or am I on my divine path? Okay? And Spirit is here saying, even though you may be, you know, doing some detours or feeling obstacles, you are on the right path, okay? So keep moving forward. It says, I am the dreamer of my dream. Again, we have three things here about dreams. Now, make sure if you're somebody who has been having a lot of vivid dreams, okay, this could be a confirmation that those dreams may be coming into your reality. So make sure that you're writing them down, okay? But there's a big focus on dreams here. Not only bringing in your dreams, but I also am hearing about dreams that you may be having, okay? And it says, I choose to learn through love. Yeah. And that's through that forgiveness, that grace. Because there is nothing stronger, nothing more powerful than operating out of the energy and the vibration of love. Okay? So keep the alignment, keep in alignment with love, focusing on your dreams, writing down your dreams, and even if you don't know what they mean, you know, I've had dreams and I've written them down. I've had dreams about situations, circumstances, people I've like never even met yet, okay? But I write them all down because I do have experiences where I have dreams and then it becomes real. So make sure you write that down, even though it doesn't make sense in the moment, okay? Keep writing them down because it may make sense in the future, okay? And keep choosing love over all things, okay? So I hope this has resonated. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I hope that you have a blessed Tuesday. I'll talk to you soon.